Hi there YouTube, Big G, back again with another video and a new project. So here's my Spectravideo 328, awesome predecessor actually to the MSX systems. The MSX systems were based on the Spectravideo platform. You had the 318 and then the 328 and then the one that I'm still after, which is the 738, my favorite all-time 8-bit computer. So I owned one when I was a teenager, thoroughly enjoyed it, great machine, but it had a limited software library, which is basically what killed this off. It, unfortunately it couldn't contend, or it couldn't come up against the Commodore 64s and even the Spectrums at that stage that were popular because of the software library, and that that was just so sad, because it really is an underrated machine. And it's got a great keyboard, had a lot of memory, a brilliant Microsoft Basic that's on it, easy to program. I've written my own basic little games on here before, and I've had a lot of fun on this machine, so it takes pride of place in my collection. Now, cartridges. These are the cartridges game cartridges that slot in onto the Spectravideo. I'm just going to slot it in there, and it looks great with it. And that comes to the crux of this project. So one of the issues, like I mentioned, was the fact that there was not a big software library for the Spectravideo. So besides tape software, which takes a long time to load, a big advantage in having cartridge software would be that it's instantaneous. I mean, I've got quite an extensive Atari library of cartridges, and it's brilliant. I mean, you just plug it in and you play, which is great. Even the Spectrum had ROM cartridges, which are also very difficult to come by. But for the Spectravideo, there was a very limited range of cartridges. So there was Flipper Slipper, Super Cross Force, Frantic Freddy, and Sector Alpha. So I'm missing Sector Alpha to complete 4 games. I only know of 4 games that are on the cartridges. I may be wrong. And then there were 2 or 3 applications. Yes, Just Right Junior. I think there was a Music Mentor and another language program. So a couple of application cartridges. But I want to program, or I want my own Sector Alpha, so I can at least complete, even though it's not original, because these are difficult to come by. I mean, if you thought Atari cartridges were tough to come by, Spectravideo cartridges are almost impossible. They're like hen's teeth. And when they do come up on eBay, they go for ridiculous prices. And on top of that, you don't know whether they work, because they are famously unreliable. So this Frantic Freddy doesn't work. You can see there I've unscrewed it before, a little screw there to see if there was anything loose on inside. It wasn't. I did some searching on the net only to find out that large batches of these Frantic Freddys and some of the others were just unreliable. So I want a Sector Alpha, and I want to fix this Frantic Freddy. So how am I going to do that? Just move this out of the way. So I want to make my own cartridges. So Yanni from Cape Town kindly organized these for me. These are PCB replacements, so that's a PCB that actually goes inside the cartridge so that you can make your own cartridges. And I've been putting together all the bits and bobs that I need. So there I have my, as you can see, the holders for the chips, and I think I have everything now ready for me to start this project. Even these little resistors, which are crazy small, and these SMD resistors and capacitors, and I just hope I'm able to actually solder them on. So the critical parts are, so it takes a 28 pin 27C256 EPROM, or a 27C512. So I've got 512s here, or some of them are 512s, because I've rescued these out of some old arcade cabinets, boards, and I'm going to be using these, and I'm only going to write 1 image to it. So it's got a 32 kilobyte, I think 32 kilobyte RAM storage for the 256s, and I think double that for the 512s, so you can easily fit 1 image on there. And then I'm actually, the other dip, or the other is a 14 pin 74L S08. which I actually managed to get locally, so I didn't have to rescue that off any arcade boards, which is great. And then obviously the capacitors, takes 3 resistors and a capacitor. Then the other item that is critical, and I mean it's finally arrived from China, is my EEPROM programmer. So using this I'm going to be able to program the images onto the EEPROMs so that I can then load the, and it just clip it in like that. Obviously first I've got to erase it, I've got to remove this little sticker, then use a UV light to clear what's the image that's on the actual chip, and then write it on here. So I've already loaded the software, tested the EEPROM programmer, and it's working fine. Now I just have to get the ROM images, clear these using a UV light, and solder them all together, and hopefully it's going to work. So yeah, in part 1 it's just introduction, just to show you that I've got everything and the reason for the actual project. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. And in part 2 I'm going to solder everything, get everything together, and program the images. And then in part 3 hopefully test it and play Sector Alpha like it's supposed to be done. Okay guys, that's all for this first part, and cheers from me, and remember, keep it retro.